Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be demonstrating how I redo my hair after washing my hair in twists. Don't forget to check out my previous video to see my full wash day in twists. In my previous video, I showed my full wash day in twists, and I left off at the part where I let my hair air dry in Bantu knots overnight. So essentially I'm just going to show you how I retwist my hair to make my twists look fresh and new again. There's really just one product I use for this part, and it's my moisturizer, and I'll leave information about it in the description box. I start out by applying my moisturizer and then gently unraveling my twists, starting with the ends, of course. It's really important that you're careful at this part because, you know, after the washing process, your hair tends to be a little bit more tangly, and so you just want to make sure that you're not breaking your hair when you're unraveling the twist. Washing your hair in twists also means that your hair tends to clump and mat a little bit more at the roots. So what I'm doing is actually applying moisturizer and separating my hair carefully at the roots as well as throughout the length of the hair. This is essentially part of my detangling process before I retwist the hair. Now my curl pattern tends to be a little bit looser in the front, so this is not as big of a problem as it is in the back where my hair is a little bit kinkier and predominantly 4C. Next, I'm just using a comb to gently comb out any shed hairs and tangles. To stretch my hair even further, I'm next using a blow dryer on a medium heat setting, and I'm essentially just doing the tension method just to add a little bit more stretch to my hair. Next, I'll retwist this section of my hair, first starting off with the braid at the very base of the hair. And I'm doing this essentially just to try to limit how poofy my roots get. This is something new I'm trying. Usually I do this with smaller twists. So essentially after braiding just a short segment of the hair, I'll go ahead and twist the hair the rest of the length down. A quick note on breakage. I don't know if you guys can see how between these next two twists there's some like hairs that are connecting them. Essentially because my parts aren't completely clean, sometimes hair from one twist gets somehow meshed in with hair from another twist, and this is kind of made worse by the washing process. Not exactly sure how, but what can go wrong is that sometimes during the process of, you know, handling one twist, you might inadvertently break some of those like stray hairs. So what I usually do when I notice stray hairs like this that are connecting two twists is I will go ahead and unravel both twists and just carefully separate those hairs so I don't break them. I didn't always used to do this, and this resulted in a lot of breakage for me, mostly at my crown actually. So it's just a lesson learned over the years. Alright, so this is the next twist, and I'm doing essentially the same thing. I'm applying my moisturizer, separating the hair at the base, getting rid of any, you know, clumped hair or matted hair, and then just separating the entire length of the hair. Then I'm going on to just go ahead and detangle the hair with my comb very gently. Because I didn't detangle my hair at all during the wash process, I have quite a few tangles, and sometimes it helps to actually separate the hair into smaller sections and detangle those sections before proceeding. Now again, I'm starting off the twist by first braiding a short segment of the hair and then following that up with a regular 2-strand twist. You'll notice here that I actually did not blow dry this segment of the hair, and that's because I noticed as I went along, you know, the front of my hair was pretty well stretched just with these twists that I kept them in, and I didn't really feel the need to apply heat if my hair was already pretty stretched. Now in the back of my hair where it tends to be a little bit kinkier, I actually would benefit from using the blow dryer to get a little bit more stretch out of the hair. So I'm now done with about half of my head, and I actually stopped using the blow dryer for the remaining parts of my hair that I did, just because I didn't feel like it. But if I had, I probably would have gotten a little bit better stretch in the back. And as usual, life happens, and I ended up not being able to finish all of my hair on that day. And I didn't end up doing the rest of my hair until like a week later. So this is just an example of one of the protective styles I wore, or one of the updos really that I wore, so you couldn't tell that I had only redone half of my twists. Now the bad thing about waiting a week to redo the twists after washing them is that they tend to be a little bit more, even more tangly. And I don't know if you can see this, but some hairs from the opposite sides of the twist tend to cross over and just make it a little bit more tangled. So as you're undoing the twist, it's really important that you make sure to do it very carefully so you don't break those hairs. I probably could have avoided a lot of this by redoing my twists right away instead of waiting a week though. Again, I'm carefully working out the matted, tangled hair that's at my roots, and I'm applying moisturizer to help me do this. To be quite honest, even with waiting a week, it wasn't really that bad. Again, since it has been a week, my hair is a little bit more dry, so I'm making sure to be generous with my moisturizer and also add water to the hair to aid with moisture. And then next I'm using my wide tooth comb to gently detangle the hair. And then I'm also separating the hair even further just to get some of those tangles out. I am using a blow dryer to stretch my hair because it has been a week since I washed my hair, and also this is the back of my hair that tends to be a little bit kinkier, and using a blow dryer helps me keep my hair stretched for a longer period of time than if I didn't. So as you can see, I kind of intermittently use the blow dryer throughout this process, just depending on how much stretch I wanted and my level of laziness. And then finally I am retwisting, starting with the braid at the base of the hair, same way as the other parts. And then I will follow that up with a twist, regular 2-strand twist for the rest of the way down. So this is the finished look, finally done. Now one of the things I do struggle with this style is that sometimes I have these weird gaps, predominantly in the back of my head, and that's just depending on how big you do the twists and kind of in what direction you do the twists. Because I do want my twists to be larger, you do risk having these like weird gaps in your hair. So you just kind of have to strategically place things to minimize those gaps. And these are just some hairstyles that I was trying out with the twists. So there's a lot of versatility with this hairstyle. You can do a lot of different styles, updos, and things like that. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.